They're quite like Tigger, but the way they've made Piglet, I quite like to take him home because you could just fit him in a bag, and he's got his little scarf and buttons on his top, and his face is just really sweet. He's like little snout, and he has like tufty eyebrows. It's so cute. So yeah, I quite like to take Piglet home. There's sort of good things for adults and children. Well, adults might find it a bit emotional and moving at certain points, and then there's the sort of the humour of the sort of animals side of things, the little things that they don't quite understand and they can't quite spell, but the clever little scenes that they've put in there, it might make audience smile and really enjoy it. They're gonna get very emotional, and they're gonna start maybe hopefully reconnecting with their kids, and then having more family trips out, and maybe playing a few more games with their kids, and thinking that that's a really special message.
I was very charmed by the script and the fact that they take Christopher Robin as a man my age, and that Winnie the Pooh comes back to him in a difficult time in his life. I found it really moving, and I'm a father of four daughters, and Christopher's a father of a daughter who he's not very close to, and you can feel that he recognizes that, and he would like to be closer to her, and certainly you get the sensation that she might like to be closer with her dad. And so there's something about this sort of coming together of a father and his daughter that really appealed to me as a dad of girls. I think because of Marc, our director, Marc Forster, and his choice of the people he's chosen to work with to make this film with him. Our DP, Matthias, is doing an amazing job, and our exteriors and interiors look absolutely beautiful and classic and real. I love it, Hayley. Hayley and I worked together we did a Woody Allen film with Colin Farrell some years ago called Cassandra's Dream. And I think it might have been her first movie out of drama school, and it was fun working with her on that. And so I was happy when Marc told me that he was thinking about casting her in this. Bronte's lovely. She's so natural and, again, real. She's so lovely when she's acting. She's totally unaffected by... I don't know if it's her first film or not. I think it might be. Her parents are actors, I think, and they're lovely people. And she's really, really good and a sweetheart. In this film, we have to do takes with the hero teddy bears. They call them stuffies. Now I don't know if that's an Americanism or a filmism. I don't know. They're teddy bears, aren't they? To me, anyway. And so when I'm doing the first takes, I'll do those with Pooh. And what Marc did brilliantly was cast. He's got a cast of players who are each of the are Pooh, Tigger, Eeyore, Kanga, Eeyore, and they've got actors for each of them. It wouldn't be nearly as effective, and the acting wouldn't feel as real and good if it wasn't for those actors playing the characters, because I really have somebody to play off, and they're really in the scene with me, and it feels like I'm acting with something. I really like Christopher Robin. I really like playing him, and I feel like I've wanted to play him for not him particularly, but this character. I feel like I've had in me for a long time.
in the script there are these lines that are taken from the books, which really capture the I suppose the wisdom of Pooh and Piglet, being, you know, a bear of very little brain, but also a bear of a very big heart. He's got this obviously this wonderful charisma and presence on screen, but he's a great leader on a set, because that's the thing, it's not just what happens between action and cut, but it's creating that ongoing atmosphere and the working environment that, of course, affects other people. And he has kind of boundless energy and enthusiasm for what he's doing, and quick to laugh, quick to engage and to try new things. And there's a playful quality about him that's quite childlike, which makes him perfect for the role of Christopher Robin, where you see the man, but underneath that you see the boy that he was. What's wonderful about her, she came in just so natural and present and sweet. There's nothing kind of over the top about her. She kind of, I think, intuitively really responded to the character and the material. And if you do something slightly different, she'll go with it. And it's really moving to watch, actually, someone who's just kind of effortlessly doing it and embodying the character of Madeline with the same feel that the books had with who Christopher Robin is and was. It's Winnie the Pooh, and these are the characters that my generation, my parents' generation, and now Madeline's generation, Bronte's generation, are growing up with. These characters are very familiar, so I think it's easy to respond to them, because they're not new to us, and that's kind of a quality that's makes it much easier to work with. Had they been, you know, completely new characters, it would have been hard to make it up as you go along. But this is, you know, we all know and love Winnie the Pooh, so we know what he's about. Because Marc seems to have such a varied career in the genre of films that he's made, it means that every so often he'll do something that feels kind of quite left field, or he'll really like what an actor's doing and kind of want to explore it further. And so he's an independent, original mind. But taking material that's so known and so loved means obviously respecting what needs to be told in a particular way to its audience. But Marc comes in and puts a little bit of his own, his take on it, and that's really nice. It's very creative. I think audiences will love how realistic these critters, these animals look, and how human they feel, and how real and believable they are. And then the story being a charming one and a funny one, and ultimately a story of a man coming back to his family, having kind of lost his way, which is something that, you know, many people can experience when they go off and do something different in their lives and forget where home is. And this is a charming story of a man finding his home again, and finding that inner child, knowing that we all have that within us, and we can always go back to it if we remember what it was that gave us that joy and that love when we were little. And I think it's kind of something that will appeal to everyone because of its warmth and its humour.
Production, of course, wanted me to do everything in Windsor Great Park, but there isn't the scale and the vista that if you go to Pippingford, which in fact is an 800-acre privately owned part of Ashdown Forest. So when we went there, I mean, it was just magical, and you knew instantly that we had to shoot something there. But I was actually encouraged to bring it all back here to London, but we split it between the two. So we used the big oaks, which are, you know, very famous in Windsor Great Park. They also are in an awful lot of other films, but not many people go to Pippingford. So when we were there, we, of course, built Pooh Stick Bridge, among other things, and it really was so magical. And we found the enchanted spot, which is this wonderful tree, and then we found there's 6 pines. Actually, it was 5 pines, but we put in a 6th pine, which is all in the original drawings, all the original shepherd drawings. So we really took that as the basis of our design, and then took it onward from there. So it was enchanting. It really was enchanting. We had heard rumours that there was this railway station, and it had been a very active rail station. It was, in fact, the terminus for all the ships going to the States. So you would go down from, I think it was from Victoria actually, and travel down to Dover, and then you would get on your ship and you would go across the Atlantic. So we went down one day and we walked into this building, and it went, wow! I mean, this is just amazing. And then there was a lovely sort of walkway that we saw to the right, and I said to the woman down there, and I said, "Do you think we could have a look at that too?" And it was this fabulous walkway, and it was the architecture was sort of absolutely perfect in keeping what we were looking for.
My role as a costume designer is to help the actors by supporting them through the clothes, which tell the story of the characters. It's not really about the clothes, it's about the storytelling aspect of those clothes. My favourite scene is definitely when Ewan, Christopher Robin, dressed in his city suit, hat and everything, on his way to work, but has to deliver poo back to the country. So he's walking down a crowded street in London with this bloody bear yabbering away in his ear. And in the end, he has to take it into a phone box, set it down and give it a right telling off. It just makes me laugh every time I think about it.
In our Christopher Robin, it's the first time we see the stuffed animals, Pooh and his friends, try to help Christopher Robin. And they're a journey alone, going out, like daring to love Christopher Robin so much that they're daring to leave the 100 Acre Woods, which is sort of their safe haven, and going into the city to trying to help him is a fantastic adventure alone by itself. Ewan McGregor is the perfect Christopher Robin because not only that he can play drama and comedy, and we have him seen in so many versatile roles, but he also sort of embodies this usefulness and adultness. And as I said before, I believe this film is for everyone, and everyone reads something into the movie. And I believe Ewan was able to capture that spirit that was needed to portray Christopher Robin as an adult person. It's always hard to find the right child to cast, especially in a Disney movie, which you have a tradition and history of so many children being in so many iconic Disney movies. So ultimately, finding the right child is already quite a lot of pressure. So Bronte Carmichael is for me one of the very most gifted children actors I ever worked with. It was important for me to find in Hayley Atwell, who plays Chris Robin's wife, a strong woman, a woman you can connect with, a woman who can stand up for herself and doesn't play a victim and play into that. Because ultimately, when he denies his love to her, that she's still a woman who believes in him, but also strong enough to stand up for herself. I hope that the audiences take away from Chris Robin a joy of life, that it's important to spend time with the people you love, enjoy them while they're with you, and celebrate life, celebrate doing nothing, because we get too busy doing many other things.
Winnie the Pooh became a dear friend of mine way back in 1966 or so, when Walt gave us the assignment to write songs for the first Winnie the Pooh short film. And it was just a joyful experience. I loved it, and I fell in love with the characters, and Pooh in particular were very, very special. And here, so many years later, to find out that Christopher Robin's a bit of trouble, he's in a bit of trouble, and Winnie the Pooh comes back to remind him what it's like to be in the 100 Acre Wood and to have imagination again. It's a wonderful story, and it was inspiring, really. There were a couple of songs, new ones. One is called Doing Nothing, and Christopher has this bear, Winnie the Pooh, who's always busy doing nothing. And he's very proud of the fact that he does nothing. And it was fun to write. It was a kind of a fun double talk song. Yeah, I enjoy that very much. And the other one was the Christopher Robin song, which is a sweet, nostalgic memory, a love song between Winnie the Pooh and Christopher. And Winnie the Pooh sings it, and he says, "Do you remember me? Do you remember the fun we had together?" And that was part of the storyline of the new film, which I'm excited to be a part of. I think Winnie the Pooh will have an audience for the next 200 years because it's so special and so dear. There'll always be people rediscovering Pooh or finding about him for the first time. And it's timeless. It has a timeless quality to it. It's imagination. It's the love. Everybody had a teddy bear or a little doll when they were kids that they loved. And Winnie the Pooh is the universal teddy bear. Everybody loves him. Walt was the one that always felt that music was the key, the magic key between the audience and the story. And there's something magical about doing a song. It's different than just doing a piece of dialogue. Something happens, it's magic. It sort of connects with the audience. And so I always felt very thrilled to be getting those assignments, getting the chance to write songs for Pooh again. It's special to me.